Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a place where life had you backed up against the wall? Where everything you built seemed like it was crashing down around you? Oh, I know I'm not the only one who's ever been there. I'm talking about those moments when it looks like the storm will never pass, when the weight feels too heavy and giving up feels easier than holding on. But can I tell you something? That storm isn't your end, it's your setup. God didn't bring you this far just to watch you quit. No, you were built for this. Somebody shout, I was built for this. I need you to hear me this morning. Hard times don't define you, they refine you. Diamonds are formed under pressure and warriors are born in the heat of battle. Oh, I came to tell somebody today that what you're going through is not breaking you, it's preparing you for the breakthrough. So don't give up, don't sit down, don't throw in the towel. It's time to rise up because your greatest victory is just beyond this storm. If you believe it, say yes. One, embrace the process. There's a powerful truth that many people miss when they face difficulties. The process is just as important as the outcome. We live in a world that demands instant results, but the reality is that lasting change and growth only come through the journey. We often look at success, at breakthrough moments, and think that they come overnight or that they are handed to someone easily, but we fail to recognize the journey they had to take to get there. The hard times, the struggles, the pain, all of it is part of the process. It's the fire that refines us, the storms that shape us, and the challenges that build our strength. When you're in the middle of a tough season, it's easy to focus on the discomfort or the hardship. But that's the moment you need to remind yourself that the process is not here to destroy you, it's here to develop you. It's easy to want to skip past the struggle, to fast forward to the triumph, but without going through the process, we miss out on the lessons and the transformation that are waiting for us on the other side. You can't rush the growth that is necessary to carry the weight of your dreams. If you skip the process, you miss the preparation. Think about a seed. When it's planted in the ground, it doesn't immediately sprout into a full-grown tree. There's a process of growth that takes place underground where no one sees, where no one can applaud, where no one can recognize the hard work that's going on. It's in the dark, hidden place that the seed is stretching its roots, finding its foundation and strengthening itself to one day break through the surface and grow into something much bigger than it was when it first started. That's the process, and that's the reality for every dream, every vision, and every person who is striving for greatness. The process may be hidden from others, but it's necessary for what's coming. Sometimes the hardest part of the process is that it doesn't make sense. We want to understand why things are happening, why we have to go through these struggles, why we have to face these challenges. We want to see the bigger picture before we can fully invest in the process. But let me tell you something, the process doesn't always make sense in the moment. We can't always understand why things are happening the way they are, but that doesn't mean we should give up. We have to trust that there's a greater purpose in the process, even when we can't see it yet. The truth is that the process is where we grow. It's in the discomfort that we are molded into the person we need to be in order to carry the blessing that's coming. Think about gold. It doesn't start as this beautiful, shiny metal. It starts as raw ore, and it's only when it's placed in the fire that it becomes purified. The impurities are burned away, and what's left is something valuable, something rare. That's what's happening to you in the midst of your struggles. The fire may be hot, the pressure may be intense, but it's purifying you, strengthening you, and shaping you into someone who can withstand what's ahead. Don't rush the process. I know you want to get to the victory, to the place where everything is easy and everything falls into place, but that place is only made possible because of the steps you're taking today. Every moment of struggle, every hardship you face is teaching you something about yourself and about the world around you. You are being equipped for what's ahead, even if you can't see it right now. And when you get to the place you're striving for, you'll look back and realize that the process wasn't just something you had to go through, it was something you needed in order to become the person you are meant to be. There's no shortcut to success. There's no bypassing the struggle. If you want to be great, you have to be willing to embrace the process, the hard times, the moments of doubt, the times when you feel like giving up. You have to stay committed even when you can't see the finish line. Because if you can make it through the process, you'll come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's to come. The process also teaches us patience. In a world that wants everything now, we've forgotten the power of waiting. But the process isn't something that can be rushed. Just like a seed can't be forced to grow, Your dreams can't be rushed either. They have to unfold in their own time. When you learn to trust the timing of the process, you'll find that you can have peace even in the midst of waiting. You may not have all the answers right now, but you can trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and every moment is moving you closer to where you're meant to be. The process also teaches us perseverance. There are going to be moments when it feels like nothing is happening, like you're stuck in a season that won't end. But it's in those moments that you have to keep pushing forward. Even when it's hard, even when it seems like nothing is changing, you have to keep going. Perseverance is what separates those who make it from those who give up. It's easy to quit when things get tough, but it's the ones who keep pushing through, even when it feels like everything is working against them, who are ultimately rewarded. So embrace the process. Trust that every setback, every struggle, every hard time is building you into something stronger, something greater. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and thank God for every moment of it. You were built for this. 2, shift your perspective. When you're facing challenges, it's easy to get caught up in the circumstances. You look at the obstacles in front of you and everything feels overwhelming. Your mind starts to spiral, focusing on everything that's going wrong, everything that isn't working out. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools you have in hard times is your ability to shift your perspective? Changing how you look at the situation can completely transform how you experience it. The truth is, perspective shapes reality. The way we view a situation directly impacts how we respond to it. If you look at a problem as insurmountable, that's exactly how it will feel. But if you change your perspective and see the challenge as an opportunity for growth, or a lesson to be learned, you'll start to approach it with a different mindset, one that's more open, more resilient, and more willing to push through. Think about a glass that's half full. One person might look at it and see that it's only half full, focusing on what's missing. They feel frustrated, disappointed, or even defeated by the emptiness. Another person might look at that same glass and see that it's half full, focusing on what's there rather than what's not. The perspective you choose changes everything about how you experience that moment. The first person is stuck in scarcity while the second person is focusing on abundance. The situation didn't change, but their outlook on it did, and that makes all the difference. When we find ourselves in tough times, it's important to remind ourselves that how we perceive the situation can either paralyze us or propel us forward. It's easy to fall into a negative cycle where every setback feels like confirmation that things will never get better. But if you can shift your thinking, you'll begin to see these setbacks not as failures, but as stepping stones, part of a process that's preparing you for something bigger. Shifting your perspective also involves understanding that not everything in life is permanent. We often get so consumed by our current circumstances that we forget that challenges are not forever. No storm lasts forever. No period of struggle is endless. When you look at a difficult time as a temporary season, it changes the urgency with which you approach it. You begin to think, this too shall pass. And that thought gives you the strength to keep going even when it feels unbearable. Perspective also means letting go of the victim mentality. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like everything is happening to you, that you have no control over your situation. But when you choose to shift your perspective, you realize that you still have power over how you react. You may not have control over the circumstances, but you have control over your response. You have control over your attitude, your determination, and your resolve to keep moving forward. This shift in perspective helps you to move from a place of helplessness to one of empowerment. It reminds you that no matter how difficult the road is, you have the ability to navigate. You are not a passive bystander in your own life. You are an active participant. And when you embrace that, you reclaim your power. It's about taking ownership of your journey, no matter how uncertain or difficult it may be. It's also important to remember that shifting your perspective doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or pretending everything is available when it's not. You don't have to bury your feelings or act like everything is fine. It's okay to feel pain, to feel frustration, and to feel disappointment. What shifting your perspective does is help you to put those emotions into a healthier context. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions, you allow them to inform your growth. You acknowledge that it's hard, but you choose to see that the struggle is making you stronger. It's a process of learning to balance your emotions with your vision. to let them fuel your resolve instead of dimming your hope. Another part of shifting your perspective is learning to be grateful, even in the hard times. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? How can you be grateful when everything is falling apart? But gratitude changes your focus. It helps you see the things you still have, the things that are still going well. Even in the darkest times, there are blessings, small or large, that you can recognize and be thankful for. When you practice gratitude, you train your mind to look light for the good, even in bad situations. This shift in focus helps you maintain hope and positivity, which are vital when navigating tough times. Sometimes shifting your perspective also means reaching out for help. We often try to carry everything on our own, thinking we have to do it alone. But when you open up and allow others to share in your journey, you realize that you're not alone. There are people around you who care, who can offer support, and who can offer a new perspective on your situation. This doesn't mean that you should rely solely on others, but it means being open to receiving wisdom, encouragement, and love from the people around you. Your perspective can change the way you experience your challenges. When you view obstacles as opportunities for growth, when you see setbacks as lessons, when you realize that every difficulty is temporary, you shift from a mindset of defeat to one of victory. The way you choose to see your situation has the power to shape your reality. A small shift can lead to a huge transformation. And that transformation can make all the difference in whether you survive hard times or thrive on with them. 3, stay rooted in faith. When you're going through difficult times, the natural inclination is to focus on the problems in front of you, the obstacles that seem insurmountable. It's easy to feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, that you're fighting a battle you can't win. But in those moments, there's something you need to remember. Staying rooted in faith can be the anchor that keeps you grounded. It's not about pretending the storm isn't there or ignoring the struggle, but about choosing to trust that you're not in this fight alone. Faith is what helps you keep your footing when everything around you feels shaky. And it's the belief that no matter how hard things get, something greater is at work behind the scenes. Faith is not a passive thing. It's not simply believing when things are easy or when everything is going well. Real faith is tested in the hardest moments of our lives. It's easy to have faith when everything aligns perfectly, when everything is going according to plan. But the true measure of faith is found when life is messy, unpredictable, and out of control. That's when you're forced to lean into something bigger than yourself. You have to rely on a strength that doesn't come from within, but from a source that is greater than anything you could muster on your own. Staying rooted in faith means refusing to let your circumstances define your belief. It's easy to get distracted by the noise, the worries, the doubts, the negative voices around you and let them dictate how you feel about your future. But faith calls you to rise above that. It calls you to stand firm in what you believe regardless of what you see or feel. It's the understanding that your circumstances are not your final destination. They may be part of the journey, but they don't define who you are or where you're going. There's a strength that comes when you stay rooted in faith. Think about a tree deeply rooted in the ground. When the winds come, when the storms hit, that tree doesn't topple over. It bends, but it doesn't break. The roots go deep, anchoring the tree to the earth, giving it the strength to withstand the toughest weather. In the same way, your faith is your root system. The deeper your faith goes, the more strength you have to endure the storms of life. You may bend under pressure, you may sway with the winds of doubt, but if you're rooted in faith, you will not be moved. You will stand firm, knowing that this storm is temporary and that you are equipped to handle it. Staying rooted in faith also requires surrender. We want to be in control, to have all the answers, to understand why things are happening the way they are. But faith is about trusting even when we don't have the answers. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and allowing something bigger than ourselves to guide us through the unknown. It's not always easy to surrender, especially when things feel uncertain, but it's in that surrender that we find peace. We find comfort in knowing that there's a greater plan at work, one that we may not fully understand but can trust. And sometimes faith means letting go of our own timeline, our own expectations, and trusting that things will unfold in the way they're meant to, even if it's not according to our own schedule. Another important part of staying rooted in faith is holding on to hope. When the world around you seems bleak, when it feels like nothing is going the way you hoped, it can be easy to lose hope. But faith and hope go hand in hand. Faith is the belief in something greater, and hope is the expectation that something good is coming. Even when things seem impossible, faith gives you the belief that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It helps you hold on, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. When you are rooted in faith, you are able to hope for a better tomorrow, even when today feels overwhelming. That hope becomes the fuel that keeps you moving forward, even when the path ahead seems unclear. Staying rooted in faith doesn't mean you won't experience doubt or fear. It doesn't mean that you won't have moments of uncertainty. But it means that in those moments you have something to turn to that is bigger than your doubts. It's in those moments of fear that faith becomes a choice. You choose to believe even when you're not sure how things are going to work out. You choose to trust even when you can't see the way forward. It's in those moments that your faith grows stronger, because it's in the wrestling with doubt that you discover how deep your belief can go. There is also power in remembering the past victories that have come through faith. When you look back on the times when you didn't think you could make it through, but somehow you did, you realize that faith was at work all along. Even when it didn't seem like there was a way out, somehow a way was made. Those past victories are the proof that you've been carried before, and that same faith will carry you again. They remind you that you are not alone, and that the same power that helped you overcome yesterday is still at work in your life today. Every challenge you face is another opportunity to build your faith, another opportunity to look back and see how far you've come, and another opportunity to trust that you will continue to grow, evolve, and emerge stronger. Faith is the foundation that helps you stand strong, even in the toughest times. It's the anchor that keeps you from drifting when the waves of life threaten to pull you under. It's the belief that no matter what happens, there's something greater at work, something beyond what we can see, something beyond what we understand. When you stay rooted in faith, you realize that you are not walking this journey alone. You are walking with a strength that will never fail you, a source of power that will sustain you through every storm. Faith is what will carry you to the other side, stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next chapter of your journey. 4, surround yourself with encouragement. When you're going through difficult times, it's easy to feel isolated, like you're facing the world alone. The weight of your challenges can feel unbearable, and it can seem like no one understands what you're going through. But in those moments, one of the most important things you can do is surround yourself with encouragement. The people you choose to have around you can either lift you up or drag you down. It's crucial to be intentional about the voices you allow into your life, because they play a significant role in how you navigate your journey. Encouragement is not just a nice thing to have, it's essential. It acts like a lifeline, pulling you back from the brink when everything feels too much. In times of hardship, the words of others have the power to either inspire hope or reinforce fear. The right words spoken at the right time can ignite a fire inside of you, reminding you that you are not alone and you can make it through the toughest of situations. Surrounding yourself with encouragement means actively seeking out those voices that speak life into your spirit, those who remind you of your strength, your purpose, and your ability to overcome. It's important to understand that encouragement doesn't always come from the loudest voices or the most dramatic gestures. Sometimes it's the quiet, steady presence of someone who simply believes in you. Sometimes encouragement is as simple as a reassuring word or a gesture of kindness that says, "I see you and I believe in you." In hard times, you need people around you who can remind you that there is still good in the world, that your struggles do not define you, and that your future holds promise. These are the people who will help you keep moving forward when you feel like giving up. However, surrounding yourself with encouragement also means being intentional about who you allow to influence your mindset. In moments of vulnerability, it's easy to let negativity seep in, especially when the people around you are struggling with their own challenges. Sometimes the voices closest to us can be the ones that unintentionally bring us down. They may not mean to, but the constant stream of negativity can make it harder to keep going. You have to be discerning about whose words you let shape your thoughts. If someone consistently brings you down, sows seeds of doubt, or feeds into your fears, it may be time to step back and protect your peace. You don't have to cut people off, but you do need to set boundaries that allow you to preserve your sense of hope and confidence. The voices of encouragement you surround yourself with should be those who genuinely believe in your ability to make it through difficult times, who inspire you to keep going, even when the road is long and the end isn't in sight. It could be a friend who's walked through similar struggles and understands the journey, or a mentor who offers wisdom and perspective. Sometimes it's a family member who reminds you of the strength you've shown in the past, or a colleague who believes in your potential. It could even be a community, whether it's a church group, a support group, or online forums where others are going through similar battles and offer mutual encouragement. But encouragement isn't just about hearing the right words, it's also about seeing the right examples. Surrounding yourself with people who have overcome their own difficulties can be incredibly motivating. When you see others who have been through hardships and come out stronger on the other side, it reminds you that it's possible to keep going. Their stories serve as proof that no matter how dark the journey gets, there is always a way forward. You begin to realize that you are not alone in your struggles and you don't have to face them in isolation. Encouragement often comes through shared experiences where you can draw strength from one another, lift each other up, and remind each other of the strength within. Sometimes you also need to encourage yourself. It's important to recognize that you are your own greatest source of encouragement. Yes, others can inspire and support you, but you also need to learn how to speak life into your own spirit. You need to remind yourself of your past victories, the times when you thought you couldn't make it but did. You need to tell yourself that you are worthy, capable, and resilient. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you're constantly telling yourself that you can't make it, that it's too hard, that you're not good enough, then it becomes harder to keep going. But if you speak encouragement over your own life, if you choose to remind yourself that you are strong, that you can rise above, you start to believe it. The way you think about yourself will often be the determining factor in how you face challenges. Encouragement also means celebrating small victories. When you're in the midst of a hard time, it's easy to overlook the progress you've made. But every step forward, no matter how small, is worth recognizing. Every time you choose to get up, every time you keep moving, even when you feel exhausted, you are winning. Surround yourself with encouragement that reminds you to celebrate those victories, to acknowledge how far you've come. It might not feel like much in the moment, but those small steps add up and they lead to bigger breakthroughs. Lastly, encouragement isn't just about receiving, it's about giving. When you surround yourself with people who encourage you, you also have the opportunity to pass that encouragement on to others. There's something powerful about lifting someone else up. Not only does it help them, but it also strengthens your own resolve. In times of difficulty, being there for someone else can remind you of your own strength and resilience. It creates a cycle of positivity and support where everyone involved can draw strength from one another. Encouraging others can also shift your own perspective, helping you see the bigger picture and remember that even in tough times, you have the ability to make a positive impact on the world around you. 5, stay focused on the vision. In times of hardship, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. When challenges hit, when the road gets tough and the obstacles seem overwhelming, your focus can easily shift from your long-term goals to the immediate struggles in front of you. But it's during these very moments that it's most important to stay focused on the vision you have for your life. The vision you hold in your heart, the dreams you've worked toward, and the goals you've set are the things that can pull you through the hardest times. They serve as a compass, guiding you when everything else seems uncertain. Staying focused on the vision means refusing to get lost in the temporary distractions that come with difficult times. When everything around you is chaotic, when you're faced with doubt and discouragement, it can be tempting to let those feelings dictate your actions. It's easy to get distracted by the negative emotions that come with struggle, to let fear, worry, or frustration take control. But in those moments, you have to remind yourself that your vision is bigger than the temporary discomfort you're facing right now. The journey is part of the process, but it's not the end of the story. You have to keep your eyes on what lies ahead, on the life you are building, on the future you're creating. One of the most powerful things about a vision is that it's personal. It's something that resonates with you on a deep level. It's not about comparing your journey to anyone else's, not about trying to measure up to someone else's success. Your vision is unique to you. It's the picture of who you want to become, the impact you want to have, and the life you want to live. When you stay focused on that vision, you stay connected to your purpose. And that purpose is what will give you the strength to keep moving forward, even when the road is tough. Staying focused on the vision also means remembering why you started in the first place. In the beginning, there was a reason you set those goals, a deep desire for something more, something better. Maybe it was a dream to build a business to create a positive impact in your community or to build a life that reflects your values. Whatever it was, there was a spark that ignited your journey. When things get hard, going back to that why can reignite that fire. It serves as a reminder that your vision is worth the struggle, that the challenges you face are not roadblocks, but part of the process that will ultimately bring you closer to your goal. However, staying focused on the vision doesn't mean ignoring the reality of the situation. It doesn't mean pretending that things are easy when they're not. It's important to acknowledge the difficulties you're facing, but it's also important to not let those difficulties dictate your future. You have to look beyond the challenges and see the bigger picture. Yes, the road may be rough, but the destination is worth it. The vision is worth it. At times, staying focused on your vision also requires patience. We live in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification, where we want things now, and we want them to happen fast. But the reality is that most dreams take time to materialize. Success is rarely instantaneous. It's a gradual process built step by step, day by day. And in those moments when progress seems slow, when it feels like nothing is happening, it's important to stay patient. Trust that every small step forward, even the ones that feel insignificant, is bringing you closer to your vision. Don't get discouraged by the waiting. Instead, use that time to strengthen your resolve and deepen your commitment to your goal. It's also important to remember that staying focused on your vision doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. Sometimes the path to your vision is unclear and you don't know exactly how things will unfold. That's okay. You don't need to know every detail. You just need to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Focus on the next step, not the entire journey. Trust that as you continue to take action, the path will begin to reveal itself. And even when things don't go according to plan, stay open to the detours. Sometimes the unexpected twists in your journey are the very things that bring you closer to your vision, even if you can't see it at the time. Another important part of staying focused on the vision is guarding your mind from distractions. In a world full of noise, it's easy to get sidetracked by the opinions of others or by the pressures of society. Everyone seems to have an idea of what success should look like or what your life should be. But you can't let the expectations of others steer you off course. The vision you're pursuing is yours and yours alone. Stay true to it. Trust that the path you're on, even if it's not conventional or doesn't follow the typical blueprint, is the right one for you. Block out the distractions, the criticisms, and the negativity, and stay focused on what matters most to you. When you're clear on your vision, you become less susceptible to the opinions of others and more confident in your ability to make it a reality. It's also crucial to be flexible in your approach. Life is unpredictable and things rarely go according to plan. Staying focused on your vision doesn't mean you have to be rigid or stuck in one way of doing things. Be open to adjusting your strategy when needed. If something isn't working, be willing to pivot and try a different approach. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means adapting to the circumstances while still keeping your eye on the end goal. It's about finding new ways to get to the destination, even when the road ahead doesn't look like you expected. In times of struggle, the vision you hold in your heart is what will give you the strength to keep going. It will keep you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. It will remind you that there is a purpose in the pain and that your efforts are not in vain. Stay focused on that vision, hold on to it with everything you have, and let it guide you through the hard times. The challenges you face are just stepping stones toward the fulfillment of your dreams. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep moving forward. The vision will become your reality. 6, keep moving forward. When you face difficult times, the temptation to stop moving forward can be overwhelming. Life can throw curveballs that knock you off course, and the weight of your struggles can feel like it's too much to bear. You may feel like you've hit a wall or that the end of the road is nowhere in sight. But in those very moments, it's crucial to keep moving forward, even when everything inside you tells you to stop. The key to overcoming hardship lies in persistence, in continuing to put one foot in front of the other, even when the journey feels unbearable. There is power in movement, even when it feels like you're not making much progress. Moving forward doesn't always mean big leaps or grand victories. It can be as simple as taking the next small step. Sometimes the act of continuing to move, even in the smallest way, is enough to keep you going. It's about refusing to let the weight of your challenges define you. Every time you choose to get up, every time you decide to try again, no matter how small the effort, you are making progress. And progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. One of the most important things to remember when you're going through tough times is that you don't have to have it all figured out. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the idea that you need to know exactly how everything will turn out. But the truth is, life rarely works according to our plans. Sometimes the best thing you can do is simply take the next step, even if you don't know what's coming after that. By keeping your focus on the next step, you relieve some of the pressure that comes with trying to control every detail of your journey. You don't need to see the entire road ahead, just the next step is enough. It's also important to understand that moving forward doesn't mean ignoring the reality of your situation. You don't have to pretend that things are easy or that everything is fine when it's not. Acknowledging the difficulties you're facing is an essential part of moving forward. It's okay to admit that things are tough, but it's not okay to let that stop you from taking action. By continuing to move forward, you show yourself and the world that you are not defined by your struggles. You may be facing challenges, but you are not a victim of them. You are in control of your next move. Another key aspect of keeping moving forward is resilience. Life is full of setbacks, and no journey is without its obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is the ability to bounce back after setbacks. Resilience is built in the moments when things go wrong, when you feel like everything is falling apart. It's the strength to rise again, to get back up after a fall, to try once more when it seems easier to quit. Resilience is not something that comes naturally to everyone, but it can be cultivated. It starts with the decision to keep moving forward, no matter how many times you stumble or fall. Sometimes moving forward also means changing direction. You may have a clear vision in your mind of what your path should look like, but life often has a way of surprising you. The road you thought you'd be walking may turn out to be a dead end, or the plans you made may not unfold the way you expected. In those moments, it's important to be flexible and open to the possibility of a new path. Moving forward doesn't mean clinging to the old plan when it's no longer working. It means adjusting your course, finding new opportunities, and embracing the unexpected. It's about trusting that even when things don't go as planned, you're still moving forward. Sometimes the detours are the very things that lead you to the right place. The power of momentum cannot be overstated. When you keep moving forward, even when it's difficult, you build momentum. Every small action you take adds to your progress, creating a sense of forward motion that propels you through difficult times. Momentum helps you keep going even when you don't feel like it. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. Once it starts, it gains strength and speed. The more you keep moving, the easier it becomes to continue. Even if your progress is slow, you're still building momentum. And when you have momentum on your side, it becomes easier to keep pushing even through the hardest times. It's also helpful to remember that no progress is too small. Often when we face challenges, we focus on how far we have to go instead of recognizing how far we've come. It's easy to get discouraged when the goal seems distant or unattainable. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Sometimes simply making it through the day, doing what needs to be done, is a success in itself. Celebrate those small victories along the way. They are the foundation for the bigger wins to come. By focusing on the progress you've made, no matter how small, you remind yourself that you are moving forward. You are not stuck. You are not stagnant. You are on the path, and you are making progress, even if it doesn't always feel like it. Another important aspect of keeping moving forward is the support you surround yourself with. It's hard to keep going when you feel isolated or alone. Having people in your corner, people who encourage you and believe in you, can make all the difference. These people can help remind you that you are not in this struggle alone. They can offer you the strength to keep going when you feel like you can't go any further. Sometimes moving forward means leaning on others for support, asking for help, and allowing others to lift you up when you're too tired to carry on by yourself. It's okay to reach out for support, to share your burden with those who care about you. We are all stronger together. At the core of keeping moving forward is the belief that better days are ahead. Even when things seem dark, even when the road is tough and the journey is long, there is always hope. The challenges you face today are not permanent. They are part of the process. The hardships you encounter may be teaching you lessons, strengthening you for what's ahead.